I know, it's hard to transition after Billy Joel. We didn't start the fire.
I was thinking it's getting hot in here,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know if that'd be really appropriate. So.
Knowing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for showing up today.
It's an intimate crowd.
It is, isn't it? It's kind of like the old days, everybody at one table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of
I
cool.
don't think I've sat at this table in 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Okay, so Joy, Amanda, where's Amanda? There she is.
So I just wanted to share about our some of us went and floated the Sandy River last week. It was so much fun. We totally have to do that again sometime. Sean, Lindsay, Lisa, Susie. We all went. We figured out that Lindsay is a walking karaoke machine. She knows every word, every song, and she can hear the tune. So if you ever need a little music and you forget to bring a stereo, your cross. Anyway, yeah, exactly. We had a blast. It took twice, maybe 3 times as long as I said it was going to. So we all just kind of like forgot about our days and floated on the river. It was awesome. We need to do it again sometime. It's really fun.
That's awesome. Tomorrow would probably be a good day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, that's what Joy's all about.
We definitely underestimated the power of the sun, and then I got some sunburn. Yeah. We also underestimated the power of sunscreen. Yes. Every application, Richard will be your guy. Yes.
That's awesome. Greg has
Well,
Joy.
I'm going to have some joy about my son's basketball tournament in Vegas when he was down there with no parents turning it up, staying up all night. Anyway, my son plays on a AAU team called Demo Prep, which is a local basketball team. So they have like 5 teams, and they have Vegas is like their last. It was their last tournament of the year. Plus, it was their 8th graders. It was their last hurrah. So they have 2 teams. So he flew in at 7:30. Wednesday night, and they had a game at 8:30, and they lost their first game. And down there, you're playing teams from New Jersey. I mean, it's like just a huge, big-time tournament. So they lost their first game. They lost their second game to a team called Oakland Rebels, kind of sponsored by Damian Lillard from the Blazers by 1 point. So their last game, they had to win to get into what they call the playoff bracket, to play all these high-seeded teams. So I'm thinking, okay, if you can just get a win, that's all we need, just for confidence. I'm sitting, I don't even care about, just so you don't have to come back home. So they won that game in overtime. I'm like, oh, all right. So then they had a game on Saturday, and I'm like, okay, they won that game by 2. I'm like, we're 2-2, so we can come back to Portland bragging rights. So they had a game Sunday. It started at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you understand these kids don't go to bed until 4 every morning. And I'm like, Lamar, you guys got to get some sleep, blah, blah, blah. He said, we're fine. So they had a game at 8. I'm having coffee at 8:30. I'm getting these texts like, man, Lamar's doing this. They're balling. They win that game. But in a nutshell, their team went 0-2, and they went and won the next 4 games and won the championship. It was almost like a movie because you're like, it's just weird because you just felt, it's like you just win 2 games, whatever. But of all their teams, they're called the red team. They have the black team, which is basically the highest level team. And they had like about 3 other teams. They brought home the championship. So it was kind of cool for them because they were the second team thought of, and then they've gone to 5 major tournaments, and like they traveled. And out of the 5 major tournaments, they've won 3 tournaments, and they've come in second and 1 in the semifinals in Texas. So, they're like the redheaded stepchild, and everybody, kind of like, it is more like, because, this is the second team, and the second team actually finished better than any other team, and it was really cool because those kids, they work hard, and I mean, they went out there, and their coaches are very, they're very vocal, but they had them ready. But it was really good to see those kids even come back and win. And more than anything, I would win the championship, which was a plus, but just to see them, because they fought and fought and fought and they came ahead, and it was cool. So he flew in town. He got home last night yesterday morning at 8. He stayed up all night, of course, got on plane at 6, got on at 8, and he woke up yesterday at like at 7 at night. So anyway, that's my joy for him.
Yay.
$1,000 later.
Amanda, are you touring today?
So, I have to take my brother to the airport at noon, but I'm gonna go straight from there over to Susie's listing on Southeast 57th. She told me to open from 11 to 1, and she'll have food. And then Lisa's listing, if I have time after that, also in Southeast. Would love it if you know some car people around. Anyone available to do that? Nope. Nope. Becca? You guys! Anyone?
I could take people now.
Sally, champion Sally. All right. Sally, right. I just want to give one more tip about broker tour that, some people are like, well, I don't have any buyers looking in that range or whatever. Not necessarily to preview for buyers. Like you're going to support your coworkers. You're also going to just kind of see something new, something you might not have seen before. And then also to, meet people that you might not know very well. It's super fun. So I highly encourage it. If you're not doing it this week, please consider next week. I'm going to be gone for the next 3 meetings. I'm going to need you guys to carry the torch.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I just throw in one more joy real quick?
I love it, yes.
For a small crowd today.
Yes.
I've been
Bring it.
wanting to brag about the food. So I wrote a book, and I have been just now starting to jump around. And I wrote a query letter to a super fancy New York literary agency, and they wrote me back the next morning and wanted the manuscript, which is, now it's in the hands of them, and they can say yes or no. But getting to that point, apparently I didn't totally understand this, is a big deal. So a big deal is happening right now.
What's your book about?
Oh, it's a long story. The elevator pitch is hard. That's the thing I'm still working on. It's this means this. I'll say it's like if Holden Caulfield was, if Catcher in the Rye was written by Augustine Burroughs.
Messed up kids.
Say no more.
So I have a it's joy or just like that's too crazy to be real story. I met with owners of a real estate company yesterday, big real estate company, and we were talking about the things that come up and the calls that we make, and the owner said, yeah, we actually just got a complaint that one of our agents wore their shoes inside and used the bathroom without washing their hands. And so they get this complaint. They actually wrote a review, and they're dealing with taking it down. We've had some funny reviews too that we have to work on taking down. Anyway, and so she calls and she says, now how do you know that they had their shoes on and didn't wash their hands? I was in the crawl space. Oh, really? Why were you in the crawl space? There were some loose wires. There was some loose wires, and then they came in, and then I just figured maybe I should just stay here in the crawl space. She also complained that they had removed chairs from the dining room, like that the dining room chairs weren't perfectly where they were when they came in, and so this principal broker convinced them that was a good thing, because if they sat down, that meant they must be interested in the house, and they're spending some time there. And she's like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, well, you really should talk to her about washing their hands and not using my bathroom. So they talked to that agent. Turns out that agent was there with a client with 3 kids. They'd seen 9 houses that day. Yeah, so Maybe one of the kids used the bathroom, I don't know. But that lady was in the crawl space.
That's insane.
And it also is. Anyway, I just think it's so great that we, as like principal, broker, owner, have to take those people and seriously give them a conversation. You hear that information, not to be like, well, you're nuts.
Well, and it's a really good lesson too, that you are never alone in the house, right?
Never alone.
You are never alone in a house.
I was at an inspection the other day, and it was like right at noon, and I was starving, so I brought my lunch. And I was like, I'm just gonna sit at the dining room table and eat while I'm here. And of course, the homeowner was, and luckily, she was super nice, and had also brought the exact same lunch, so we sat and had lunch together. She's like, no, it's fine, sit, we'll have lunch together. So it was weird, but it worked out really well. She was really nice.
Oh my God. So glad she didn't call us. I have a video camera.
Yeah,
And your agent's eating.
Worry about the video cameras.
People video people.
I'm just glad there wasn't a video camera in that bathroom.
Yeah.
No kidding, or that she wasn't like peeking through a hole.
No, just lying in the crawl space.
As you
Well,
do.
and probably moving around down there as the feet moved around, right? To be able to realize that the sink didn't go on and the chair moved. Was she crawling around down there as
It
they
was a
moved around the
tiny
house?
house.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
I love it. Sorry, I think that's great.
Can you imagine having so much pop out?
Die. Or moan down there.
Moan.
There's a body in the crawl space. Yeah.
Okay. That's I did want to mention to our small group today, we have Chad Brackett visiting with us today. He's a friend of Stacy's. He's here to check us out. He's an agent down in California and other things prior to that. Has lived all over the country and is now saying he is settling for sure in Portland, right? This is it?
This is it.
You're in.
13 states, this is it. I've had enough. I cannot buy and sell another home. I can't back another truck.
So he's in.
That could be your slogan. You could just market with that for years. 13 states, this is it.
But if anyone needs help with a client that needs packing experience, I can help with that.
Okay, and then a quick reminder, Alberta Street Fair, next Saturday, the 12th. I think, yes, some people have said they're willing to participate. You're gonna start hearing from Alyssa to get you locked in.
And if you want to see a really cool rock band, Molten Glass, will be performing at Alberta Street Fair.
Nice.
That's my son's band. They're 11 and 12-year-olds.
Oh, that's cool.
So it'll be 11:30 at the New Tree Tavern.
They have such a great logo.
It doesn't look like this anymore. It's the whole thing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's how long they've been around.
No. It's like, this is the teacher from their first tour.
And keep in mind, you guys, make sure that you bring your cards if you do decide to come down here and scoop ice cream or participate or even just kind of hang out and be around. Bring your cards. You heard, anybody who was here last week heard Dale's story, 3 transactions from the fair. So participate. And then we have Multnomah Days coming up August 19th. And that 9 to 4, parade's at 10. Parade here is at 11 for this one. So 2 weeks in a row. You have lots of opportunity to pick up clients, meet your neighbors. And then I wanted to mention we have a growth series, our Lunch and Learn digital file management. Sounds really important, doesn't it? Sounds really important.
It was actually requested by you guys.
Yes,
Like,
I was
this
gonna
is
say that.
something that one of your fellow agents asked for and followed me for. So if you have things like that, please let Member Services know. We would love to give you classes.
Yeah. So that'll be good to help you organize. And
You mean
that's
you
on-
shouldn't just keep all your files on your desktop?
I know, shocking.
Yeah, okay.
um,
That's what I do.
August 17th. So that there's still space available yesterday, so you should sign up for that if you're interested. Okay, let's see. Tour. Let's look at our board.
That's so amazing.
I think we talked about it last week too. I think it's interesting how things are coming in right at list price. And we'll see that with some of the statistics we're gonna look at. I did like, this bottom one, the Happy Valley, or the Mount Tabor, 80s, construction hard to price.
Mhm.
Ended up under.
Also, we have a lot more buyers than sellers right now.
You have a lot more what?
Buyers than sellers, it's like.
Oh, yeah, definitely, a lot more buyers.
Which is interesting, because if we have more buyers than sellers, it should be the opposite.
This other one too down here at the bottom, lots of cash out there. But this one down here also, beat out a higher offer with agent communication and buyer letter. And I know, it's a soapbox for Janelle and I. You guys, try to present your offers in person. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's super impressive. If you can get an agent to let you in, get in there. It really, really will make a difference for you.
People have a harder time saying no to someone in front of them.
That's
You
really
know,
true, yeah.
Even though you're just an agent with another offer, people just, that means so much to people.
I think maybe it'll be easier now that there's not like 12 offers.
Yeah, so-
I guess we should start doing that again.
Yeah. So I had, was having lunch yesterday with Mike Hassan, not Sage, and that is what we were talking about, but Mike was talking about, we were just talking about how this is the time, this is the kind of market that we love, because it's when you actually get to use your skills as an agent. I mean, like, when it's just crazy, it's stupid. Anybody with a heartbeat that can deliver an offer, I mean, there is skill in it, I know, with multiple offers, but this is the kind of market where you, as a skilled agent, can really show value and get a lot of referrals, because this is the time that you can go in and present an offer in person. That will blow their friends away. Your agent did what? Oh my God, my agent didn't do that. They just like passed it over. You know, and they might not know the market was different or whatever, but there's just these things that you can do that make such a huge difference. And also, you can negotiate. Like, I'm a little surprised to see there's only one offer and it's at list price. Like, that's getting it done, I understand, but there is a window here to be aggressive right now. It just is, and oftentimes, I so many times in my career, a buyer would want to ask for something I didn't want to ask for because I wanted to get it done. And I think probably 99 times out of 100, when I asked, I got it. And remember that, like, there's no harm in asking, and sometimes we want to, like, I always hear agents talk about, oh, I'm going to control. Do you have control of your client? I've heard that so many times. I don't know if I want to do a deal with this person. I don't think they have control of their client. And it's like, you're not control. You're representing them. It's no control. And you can show what leadership you are when they want to take some of those risks in a market like this and ask for things that maybe you're even uncomfortable for. I think it's the time to show your value, explain what you think their response might be, but hey, let's try it. Hey, they don't have a backup offer. Hey, we were the only offer. You know, I think that this is a time you can really negotiate, really provide a lot of value for your client. And it's also the time where more seasoned agents, right now the market's been flooded, and you guys that have been around for a long time are just going to find that you've got to raise the level of your service. You have to do your marketing. There's so many people, so many other agents in the market right now that you're going to lose stuff to people just because they've got a friend who got their license, or, you know, there's a lot of agents out there. So for those of us with more skill and experience, it's time to, like, lead with that and show how that can make a difference, and you're going to lose some stuff to agents with less experience and agents that are willing to do it for less. So I think that's why it's just so important to communicate your value. But this is exciting, and this is also the kind of market that I feel like there's just opportunity. But there just was not that opportunity before for agents to distinguish themselves as true professionals, as true leaders, as the best out there. It's hard to do that with the noise of 15 offers, but this is the kind of market that I think creates those agents that make huge reputations and go on to be really successful. So
It's also a great market to, like, tell your buyers, you know what? So you will be able to ask for multiple repairs.
Mhm.
So if you see stuff about this house that doesn't feel right, you can ask for it.
yeah,
Which I feel like few months ago, I mean, you would ask for like a sewer or something like that, but if there was some knob and tube, but it was fine, you wouldn't really ask for it, but now,
There's a stark difference between Q1, Q2 this year and now Q3.
Yeah.
And so all the noise from the past, the first 2 quarters is still in everybody's head. So I'm just telling them yesterday, we gotta go back to all the buyers who felt hopeless and they're on the fence, who are gonna wait and be like, dude, now's the time. It's not that bad. Let's get on. And see, you have the inventory from, spring and summer with a little less competition. And extreme weather is always a good time to sneak people in. When there's ice, extreme heat, people are out of here for their skating home. So I think there's a little window now to sneak some stuff in the contract for sure.
Yeah,
For buyers that you couldn't help for.
last night I was at a parenting family relations workshop, and this woman that I had referred to an agent here like a year ago was like, I was like, you still haven't bought? And she was like, no, it's just too crazy. And I'm like, well, what are you qualified up to? She's like, 650. Could I find anything? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was like listing off listings in here that have been sitting that I'm like, I would buy that, I would buy that, I would buy that. So I think it's a really good point to go back to the client list that you had where people were like, got fatigued, call them all up, because that's the conversation I've been having over and over again where I'm surprised that people just, I forget because I live in it, but the rest of the world is still on the press of 6 months ago.
yes.
Right? But the market's too crazy. So calling up people and us telling that story, like, this is a great time to buy.
Good excuse to reach out, nothing else, give them up to date, up to the second
Yeah.
market.
Show them a snapshot of that.
Yeah.
I've been talking about that with almost every client.
Yeah.
They'll be like, here's the week to week.
And how much fun is it to actually take someone out and be able to put them into something? Like, it's fun to work again. We have agents that left this year because it's not fun. They couldn't.
Last year was not fun.
It's not fun. No, I know.
It really
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Okay, so tour. We just have Adriana here. Okay. Would you like to tell us about your guys' listing?
Report to Northeastern report from 925 to 75 by 100 foot lot with a 1923 Craftsman, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. That's the main house, and then a room suite 88 with 116. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 550 plus square feet, 180, and a garage underneath, super private. And 9:25 and room is made between 11:30 and 2 p.m.
Good. She's sorted.
Nice. Becca, were you going to talk about?
Yeah, Lisa's on Southeast Ivan, so for 2.
You have any announcements about it? Okay, here.
I haven't been inside yet.
4512 Southeast Ivan, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Sorry, I thought she said you were here to talk about it. 669. Open today from 11 to 1. Is this Lisa's first listing?
Yeah, and I was
First
trying
listing.
to say that, and she's like, shh, don't tell them.
Well, that's
It's
that's
beautiful.
exciting.
It's
Yeah,
a great first listing.
and that's
Yeah,
exciting.
it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it Lisa or Lisa?
Lisa,
With 2
spelled Lisa.
All right, cool.
Amanda.
Susie has her adorable little condo on today from 11 to 1, 4433 Southeast 57th. Listed at 215, so 57th and Holding. So when you go to Lisa's, just swing on by Susie's 11 to 1. She'll have food.
Anna.
Yes, I have a beautiful Craftsman updated, heavily updated on Alameda 48 between Siskiyou and Stanton. It's a 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, about 3,300 square feet. It's listed for 1.25.
Nice.
It has top of the line, features, everything you can ask for. We're going to be there from 11 to 2, step over and develop
Anybody else you want to talk about? Dulcinea?
We have a really cute little first time tearing down possible investment house, 4821 Southeast Page. So it's just one block south of Powell. 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. Almost everything's been repaired at this point. It's in really great shape. So, and it's being repaid on Friday.
It's on Friday.
On Friday.
Okay. Hi, Ross.
Hi, we just made live, a one-bedroom and K-Station condominiums. LEED Platinum certified, true one-bedroom, awesome. You guys familiar with that? Anybody familiar with that? Yes, Killingswood Interstate, really, yeah, it's yellow. Yeah, it's a great building. Yeah. The only one for sale building.
How much is it?
320.
320. Is it open today?
No, not right now, but you can go and show anytime, the next 4 days, between 9 and 8 p.m.
Anyone else? No? Okay, we also have, Lance has 6826 North Michigan, 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow for $369,900. Open today 10 to 4. He said it's hotter than a Def Leppard video.
Oh, yeah. The location, Mississippi.
Or is he checking it like
Maybe a little bit of both.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was talking about heat. It says tour early and tour wisely.
Okay.
So it's hot.
not like dialed
Get
in
your
hot?
clients in early,
We
yes.
should all go there with big hair, just like show up to rock.
Okay, Jennifer has 7055 North Woolsey, 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath Cape Cod, 474,900. Open today 11 to 1. And Lauren Dahl, right up the street, 1745 Northeast Highland, 4-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow Craftsman, $499. She's gonna have sandwiches, cookies, and more. I think that's it. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's see here. Statistics. So, Portland Market this week. I think some of you asked me about exactly what this encompasses, and so I looked at a little.
Two offers.
Oh, yay. It's crazy.
So it was crazy busy.
What street?
We had the first open on Saturday. I mean, we thought this house was gonna maybe be on for a while. We had over 100 people.
Oh my gosh. What was the address?
1622 Southeast 71st. It was a five-lot architecturally unknown before that specific lot. And the people that wrote first and best were people that had been living on that street for a year. I mean, it was just like,
Is that Tabor?
yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Good for you. That's awesome.
It was totally unexpected. It was great.
That's awesome. You look like you had something to say. Like your
No,
brain was spinning.
no.
That's good to know. I'm glad you put that up there.
Yeah.
That was a really special house, and I bet you it was really tough to price because it was a 2-bedroom.
Yes, and like when we looked at it from that, so we were really confident, you know, as confident as anyone can be, that we were kind of just staying at or a little below so that people would, you know, and it all worked out okay, but it could have gone very differently because Gary had listed the house across the street a year and a half ago and had totally different results.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're like, look at that, like talk about you guys beating the odds, like with the rest of everything, and then you guys put something on and got 4 over where, yeah,
At that price point, too.
yeah. Cause you're good. Yeah.
Sure.
It was a special house. That's the moral of the story. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
a really special place.
And the profile,
Location still kind of like.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and the profile of the two
So what sold you on the people you took?
Price and their, we had two really professional realtors making strong offers, but the higher offer is also just written so beautifully for the seller. It's just a checkbox of whatever what the seller wanted, so.
Nice. Okay, sorry. So, I think there was some question in the last week or two when we've been looking at the statistics, because this doesn't always match what RMLS is saying. The stats that we're going over when we're looking at the Portland market are for the city of Portland, and I think RMLS kind of encompasses more what, like Gresham, Hillsborough, kind of moves around when they're talking about, they do Portland Metro, where this is city of Portland, which I kind of like, because we know that skews when you start getting away from us. So, we talked about this last week as well, but I wanted to just go back over the month to month. And so the end of June, we were at an average list price of $672 for the city, and as of yesterday, we are at $645. So we're seeing that come down a little bit. Percentage of listings with price reductions. Last month, we were at 39%. Last week, 42%, and or a week ago, 42%, and then as of yesterday, 45%.
Whoa.
So it's happening. Yeah.
One out of every 2 listings.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're so good at math. I'm just like, I
That
realized
didn't
that
take
when you,
much
I
work
know,
to
but,
break down.
but I would have had to think about that.
Maybe you're not
Sorry.
so good at math.
I am not good at math. Math is a struggle for me. I'll admit it. Okay, so days on market. A month ago we were at 62. We are now just one less, 61. So that's kind of holding steady. And then inventory of listings. As of June 26th, we had 1562 in the city. As of July 31st, 1881. Okay. So, and then the market action index, which has really not really meant anything up to this, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. So
No.
how many months of inventory are we at currently for the metro? Then, does that make out the absorption rate?
I don't know. Couldn't you figure that out?
Because you're so good at math.
Yeah. No, but my gut's like 2.5.
If you have
months. I don't know.
1881 on the market and the
Anybody got
days on are like 61 days
divided by 30?
by 30.
5 months. 5 months.
Doesn't matter how many days it's on, if listings are sitting for 61 days. Wouldn't that play into it? Wouldn't it be 1881 divided by 61?
That's been showing 2 months.
3 months.
Change, right?
It's about 3
Oh,
months.
okay.
It's 60 something. It's
Yeah, I would guess around 3 months.
3 months, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what because you'd go into the 60 days, right? Okay. See?
16 and 18.
A little bit of math. You just can't have
pieces.
I got the pieces. I just got to figure out how to get them together. So the market action index that the Altos research does, I don't think it's really mattered too much up to this point because it's been such a strong seller's market. But I think if we start watching it, we're going to really be able to see the market as it's changing each week. And their market action index answers the question, how's the market? And that, I think that's what all of our clients are asking us. So each week they measure it by the current rate of sales versus the amount of inventory. And they do an index rating. Everything above 30 is a seller's market, below 30 is a buyer's market. So end of June, we were at 55.2, which they were showing a slight downward turn. And now end of July, we're at 52.5. So even though it's small numbers, they're now calling it a strong downward trend. So I think that's interesting. So we'll follow it every single week and start looking at that number. And I think that will, because that's a question our clients always ask us. And I think going into listing appointments, it's important to be able to say, we're seeing this happening. We're watching it week to week.
It's still a seller's market, but
It is, yes.
It's still a strong seller's market. But the thing that I think that I was talking to Diane about her last couple weeks and the amount of time that the amount that she's talked to principal brokers in this last month is vastly more than the entire year before that. And what happens is that we have a seller's market that's declining. So now you have buyers who think they're in the driver's seat, and you have sellers who think they're in the driver's seat, and they're like this. But I'm in charge, I'm in charge. So you got to really work really hard with your sellers and your buyers to let them know, like, nobody's in charge here. There's good houses. There's still houses where you're going to have 4 offers. There's some offers where we're going to, like, negotiate. But we have to come together. And this is a market that we're still in a seller's market. It's still a great time to be a seller. It's still a really super healthy market. But, like, cooling off your clients has become more important than ever. And we're all seeing that from the, on the brokerage side of just that tensions between everyone thinking they're boss right now. and on top of that, the anxiety. And I think that's what fuels that the most is sellers are really anxious because when it starts going down, they think they've missed something, right? Like people, like our job is always to help people. They're vacillating between greed and panic all the time. There's like no other 2 places I feel like buyers and sellers go. It's greed or panic, and like to help them kind of work themselves down from either of those. So anyway.
Well, and I had a conversation yesterday with an agent whose clients have been awesome, and yet they're in that panic. They're in that panic point.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Sellers,
well,
buyers.
they're sellers. And so while our agent is trying to explain to them the things that need to happen in order to get their home sold and how to be working with the buyers that they have, the seller is now beginning to feel like the agent only cares about the buyers, right? And so I think that's something that we're going to have to be maneuvering now too, because as you guys are watching the market and what's happening, you know, sellers aren't, like Janelle's saying, sellers are not necessarily in complete control here, and there maybe needs to be some compromises, and they've heard all the stories from their friends who sold their houses 6 months or a year ago, and now all of a sudden you're telling them to compromise, and they think you don't care about them anymore. Like all you care about your commission, right? So I think that this is something that we are going to really have to be maneuvering, keeping our cool, and being in control of, being prepared for.
Would it be way too much of a pain in the ass to follow these up somehow so that it isn't coming from us and it's coming from the agency? Here's our stats. I mean, you guys have all that stuff through TV. That's an actual shit to your plate. But
more math.
But it'd be awesome to have in here, so it's not coming from Jake. It's coming from the institution and coming from everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's self-serving, it's actual information.
Yeah, it's just, hey, you can do with it what you want.
Yeah.
I'm just the messenger.
Yeah. I'm
not even the messenger, actually.
I've been screenshotting, I mean, with taking away names and stuff, like the Facebook Portland, Oregon Realtors, because that's been such a big topic, and I've been screenshotting it and sending it to my clients, my sellers.
That's smart. Another thing too is when people are like, but my friends got, but the neighbors got, go back and show them the comps because prices are higher than they were a year ago. So if they have to reduce back to what their friends or neighbors got, it's just going to take a lot more communication and for us to meet really emotional clients with some rational backing, with the numbers, you know, and not take on the crazy and the panic, but to like go back and be like, well, let's actually talk about your neighbor's house and how that looked 6 months ago. We're close to that price if we come down or whatever it takes. So I think I know for myself, anytime I get really emotional around something in the business, I just go back, I look at the numbers, I do that, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm cooled back down, and you're just looking at logic. It really helps.
Okay, so living room stats. We are at 327.5 million in sales year to date. 10.3 million closed last week. We have 91 active listings, 140 deals in transaction, and we have an average of 23 days on market. So that's definitely something we want to be talking about, right? What's that? Yeah, and our average home price is $465. What did I tell you the city was?
640.
645. Well, but that's not going to count.
That's,
$1
that to me,
million
that's
listings.
shopping, to me, that's shocking that the average is, the citywide is 6 something.
645.
That's shocking. Yeah, so that's anything like over 550 is shocking to me, that it's the city average.
That is interesting, because I actually just looked at Ware's numbers, because they do, you know, they're all luxury real estate mostly, and their average price point is $745. So that's not much higher than the city's average, which is interesting to me. Yet their agents only do have only done an average of about under $3 million a year
Per agent?
per agent. Yeah.
What? So they sell like 1 or 2 houses?
Which you mean they have $50 million producers? They have $50 million. They've got $150 million. They've got a $35 million producer, and even with their numbers included, they're doing an average of like half of what we do. So it's really interesting to anyway look at that because their marketing dominance is really a lot of marketing, and they're in that price point. But
And aren't we pretty high in terms of market dominance? Yeah, our average looks like it's $200,000 less.
We sell a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, and our top blogger this week was Susie Mays with Royal Girls Team Up. Of course, I read that. I'm like, of course it was.
Yeah.
503 views, and then right behind that, Erin and Dulcinea's Concordia Entertainers Delight with 342 views. Okay, so market share by volume. Alyssa, you were just asking about that. I pulled second quarter, which we've talked about before, but I'm going to mention it again. And then also I did July, now that we're at the end of July. So for second quarter, we're number 1, and that is in the city, areas 141, 142, 143, and 148. So all the way around. So the idea that we pulled 148 in and we're still number 1 is pretty fantastic, you guys. And that's with 110 agents. We are dominating 4.92% of the overall city market. Is it 7%? Is where we're going?
the goal is 7.
Goal 7. We've sold second quarter 303 units, 147.7 million in sales at an average price point for just second quarter of 487. It's a little bit higher. And I'll say our July, so for July, our average price point is 518. In second, behind us is Keller Williams Central with 249 agents, and this is by volume. So we've got less than half of the agents doing a little bit more business. Interesting though, they sold a little bit more. They've got 4.72% of the market, 325 units to our 303, but their average price point is 432 to our 487. And then there's been some discussion about Redfin, so I just thought I'd just pull their numbers too, just so you'd know where they were at. They are number 10 with 56 agents, doing they've got 1.78 of the market, 116 units, 53 million in sales, and an average price point of 456. So they've got about half of us, but not even close to half of the market, half of our market. So that's good.
Yeah, Jim asked me, and you guys were talking about this, I think, probably in your office, about do they have longer market times than we do, perhaps, because he was up in a or a competitive situation to get a listing from a Redfin agent, and the Redfin agent had grossly overpriced the listing. So we were looking at whether we could tell whether they're coming in and buying listings or not, basically promising higher prices. But from their overall averages, it looks like their pricing's pretty.
It's really close.
It's really close. So our comps and theirs were very, very similar as far as days on market, market time, that type of thing. They just don't have much market share with.
Yeah.
They've got exactly half number of agents that we do. They're doing about a third of the business that we're doing.
They're buying the listings by reducing their commission.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how they buy.
Yeah. So I don't think it's pricing. I was hoping that we'd find pricing They were just not doing a good
It's
job.
4.5%, that, 1.5 to 1% less than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this, I think this goes back to what Janelle was saying earlier, though, as the market is changing, by showing your skill, because even though they are reducing their commissions, they're still only doing a third of the business that we're doing. And that will get harder for them. It will get harder for those agents who don't know what they're doing, don't have the proper marketing behind them. As the market gets more difficult, we all know it. Anybody who went through it the last time, you start to see agents just fall off. They just start disappearing. Small companies start disappearing. So this is definitely the time to be ramping up your marketing and really showing, your expertise.
Did you look at the stats as far as list price to sales price? Is that the same as
We did look, we looked at,
Mm-hmm. I know. Damn, right?
yeah, the percentages, it was really similar.
After I do a whole press release, I was like, they don't know what they're doing. They're pricing terribly.
fixing.
You were gonna do a press release? Did you
Yeah.
do it?
I was like, sure. I know. I was finding the dirt, but investigative journalism turned up nothing. This is a bummer.
It just all comes down to commission, really.
Right. Yes.
But clearly what we're saying though is that it doesn't work. I mean, it will work in some situations.
But their
But-
service is crap, so.
Mm-hmm.
The other, I wonder how much, if there's a statistic for how many Redfin listings wind up being withdrawn or canceled and then not relisted with Redfin versus other listings.
Oh, if they go somewhere else.
If they go somewhere else after working with the Redfin
I
agent.
think that was on there, wasn't it?
I think something really interesting about Redfin agents is they get paid regardless.
Yeah.
And so their goal is the rating they get from their customers. Like that's how they get bonuses. Is that the customer, it doesn't matter if the deal falls apart, as long as their clients rate them high. Except fun to work with them.
But we had an agent tell us that.
Yeah.
Directly,
Yeah, that's what she said.
when our deal fell apart.
It was a Redfin agent.
That was. We're like, we don't care, we just wanna keep our client happy. That's exactly what she said.
I have a hard time thinking the business model is sustainable. I was actually talking to Mike about Redfin a bunch yesterday too, talking to all these numbers. But like, we both were just like, how is that sustainable to have folks on low salary positions out selling real estate? I know how hard you guys work. Like, would you work that hard?
Well, I mean, I had a similar setup in my last office where I was doing a lot of referral work for a large, like USAA.
Yeah.
And they take 40% of your commission and they make you, like, the referrals are giving you are from people who are looking for like $150,000 houses. And if they don't give you a 10-star review, then you get docked for that. And it was like completely unsustainable. I was just like, oh, screw this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, after you get some experience and you realize and see what else is out there, I just have a hard time thinking any very capable agent is
And
going
you
to
start to
say that.
really resent your clients. It's like, you're not busting my ass because I can't find anything impossible. You're going to give me a shitty review. And I'm sure there's
Uber drivers for real
out
estate.
there that are-
It's what?
It's like Uber drivers for real estate.
Uber drivers for real
Yeah,
estate.
one of my best friends is a Redfin agent, and apparently he told me that they're actually in the red.
Really?
Oh yeah, they lose millions of dollars every month.
Really?
Yes, they are solely
So they've always lost millions every year. Like this year or last year, they lost 15 million. But that's been improving. That's why they just went public, because that looked great to bankers and investors, because they used to be like 150 million and then 100 million, because it's a tech company. It's not a real estate company, but it's a tech company. So you can lose millions in a tech company and you're valued at $1 billion and everyone's thrilled to be their value off insane. Yeah, so they've been going like this out of debt, not out of debt, but so maybe next year they'll only lose 40 million. They'll be like, yay.
But their app is great.
Yeah, their app is amazing.
So,
Because they're a tech company.
They do have the technology, they should, because that's what they are.
I have an info
Yeah.
fit, so
That does real estate.
It'll be one of those things, I think, that they're gonna totally slap us all in the face. I went and saw the CEO speak last year at Inman, and every agent is like, what are you doing? What are you, and he has no good answer. There's no vision. I didn't walk away like, oh, okay, I get it now. But then I also think that what is like a horrible to quote Nelson Mandela in this reference, but like the impossible is impossible till it's done, right? So I don't know. Like, I don't know. We should watch them, but they, they did go public. They do have an amazing technology, but as far as a brokerage, if I'm in the business of having the best agents and supporting them, which is brokerage business, there's no way I could do that and then offer you guys small salaries and then tell you to perform super, super well and have you all stick around.
So why does your friend stick around?
I mean, it's where she started. She loves it. She works until 6, and then they do get bonuses for closing. They get like a set amount. Not that much. But she really likes it. She thinks it's like this grassroots type organization. She loves those weird revenue conferences. She's always like learning solutions.
I have a friend who's like a really cool musician, and she just got her license, and she's going to Redfin. I was like, why?
It's a job.
Because I can do all the other things. I set my hours. She's like, she just gives them a list of her hours, and they send her to like get keys, like a basic thing when you're starting, and then they train her, and she's like, I can work when I want to.
Or you guys could learn to set your own hours and pay yourselves more. I'm just saying. Sorry.
Personality types.
Yeah. I'm thinking that people here looking for assistance should be talking to Becca's friend.
Well, she's like closed a lot of deals.
That's what I'm saying. If I needed a good buyer's agent, I'd go to Redfin. Hire someone and pay them more. Yes?
I was going to say, sorry to jump out of the conversation, but I think there'll always be a niche for super pets,
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, you guys are super pets. You're a great bar or a salon or something different.
My Fidel Sassoon.
Yeah.
For what? A salon.
Okay, well, I'm gonna, so Eleanor put some numbers together for us, which we're gonna see in our new updated buyer-seller books, but I just thought I would go through them today for you. So, living room sellers receive on average $15,000 over their list price and $18,450 over the market average list price.
Is that for real, or
I
is
did
that?
that like 3 times. Is that for real? Yeah, that's for real. You know what? Eleanor just made them up one day. She's just going to stick it in there and we're just going to call it good.
No one will look this up.
Yeah, but no, the reason I say that is, I mean, when we had that sheet that, I don't know how old it is, and several people said, well, every other agency has the same sheet with the same stats. So clearly not everybody's.
They figure it wrong. We have Eleanor.
Okay.
That's what I would tell them. We have Eleanor.
Yeah. But any other, here's the truth in what you're saying, or the disclosure in what Diane's saying, is that any other agency that has the professionalism, staff, and time to do that sort of marketing sheet and number has agents who perform like that.
Yeah.
But we think that there's only Windermere, us, Hassan, Realty Trust, and whatever. I don't know, anybody else. But there's thousands of these brokerages and agents, and so Hassan, us, and Windermere can put together pretty good looking stat sheets.
Yeah.
So, yes. So do other agencies probably have something similar to that? Yes.
But only certain agencies.
There's thousands of them.
Right.
Yeah.
We're the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fine, we're the best.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
I may have missed something in your, or you have, we were about to.
No, go.
Okay, I think we missed something, but are the prices or the competition sort of dropping off because there's more inventory or fewer buyers?
Because it gets more difficult to do the job.
Oh,
No, I mean right now, like looking at the board.
Oh.
Like, just looking at the stats, looking at the, like, single offers as opposed to 40 offers or whatever, like that.
Why?
More,
You're out of your-
more inventory,
more inventory.
more inventory, affordability,
So fewer buyers.
fewer buyers. Yeah, I think we'd have more buyers if prices came down.
You think what?
We'd have more buyers
We'd
if
have more
prices
buyers.
came down.
Yeah, I have a lot fewer buyers this year, but the price point is like 1.5 to 2 times higher than last year because I can no longer, there's just no longer 300,000 number of houses.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like there's one house up there, which is fine, for 300,000, and that's what got 4 offers.
Yeah.
And we ended up going 2 ways over.
Rents, for like looking at the property management side, like a bungalow of what we think of, like we put like a couple or families moving to Portland, that rent's $3,000 or more.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, so if affordability, if there were houses, the affordability came down a little bit, people are paying that much in housing, so.
But are we seeing reduction in price so much because people just thought it was last year and they're pricing too high, you know? So there's always an adjustment.
Yeah, we're gonna see a little correction, or we have seen a little correction.
True.
To the question of like affordability and pricing, I feel like there's a lot of houses this year, and I'm looking at comps, and it's pretty much the same as it was last year. It's like it kind of hit a ceiling, you know, in some different price points, but the pricing hasn't changed that much. Maybe I'm crazy, but.
Pricing hasn't changed much.
There's always a bulge, like the year's appreciation happens in Q1 and Q2,
Right.
and then it kind of levels off.
Really Q2.
Yeah.
Kind of happens over
And
a
then, so there's
6
like
week
that
period.
bulge, and then,
Yeah.
what's gonna be really interesting is fall and winter. And then, you know, are we gonna have another really busy, aggressive spring again? Because it's not like the sky's falling, this is no great recession, far from it.
Yeah.
You know, it's only trending towards health, but it seems like we'll still have another busy spring, but it's impossible to say.
And that's kind of the question that keeps coming back up. It kind of comes to me every August, because I feel like August is kind of a quieter month in general. And I always come back around thinking, is this just quiet August, or is it part of a bigger economy?
It's
You
quiet.
always feel that way.
I always feel that way. And then September comes, like,
Probably will pick back up.
I think I'll pick that up.
I do wish the
It'll be a
prices.
different version of what it was last year, because last September was really busy.
I wish they'd go down. That would be good too.
Things chilled out. Wouldn't be a bad thing.
As long as you guys are out there being cool about it and not panicking.
Oh, yeah.
Be cool and take advantage of it. And don't be like, oh my God, I've got to get a job at Redfin. It just went down.
Fear and greed.
I know, fear, panic and greed, panic and greed.
Ross?
That's what I was saying. What did I say before I did the check? I was wrong. They lost 22 million this year. But last year they lost 30 million, so they're partying over there.
Yeah,
$2 million.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you with one last little thing and then I'm gonna let you go. So it also says here, Eleanor told us that on average, living room listings earn 3.5% over the list price versus 1.5% over with other realtors, and 91% of living room listings sell, and the market average is 80% with other
Wow.
realtors.
So that would be like Redfin's.
Will you go back to the 1.5? What is that?
So on average, living room listings earn 3.5% over the asking price, which is what we saw when we pulled
Yeah.
that information. And other companies are 1.5% over.
So living room listings earn 2% more. So you're talking to anybody with a 5% commission, you're going to make them 1%. If you tell them, well,
That's
I'm going
the
to
math
charge
I
you
can't do.
6. Well, no, well, like if I'm competing against
Oh, I see what
someone
you're saying.
and they're in another brokerage and they're like, we'll do it for 5%. That's a great statistic to share with them because you're going to earn them back that percent plus gain them
Plus one
another.
more.
So actually, I'm going to charge you 7.
So we'll be
Then you'll
even.
make
Do it for
Yeah,
5.
another thing I love to always try to get you guys to do my marketing for me, but, so to have that sheet in there too, is like a quick counter to the discount commission.
can I just come to your listing appointments with like my Texas Instrument calculator?
Get a little visor, get a visor, get a little glasses.
I will totally take you up on that. I'm pretty sure we could.
She does math.
Pretty sure we
Watch this. No, what's 45 and 100? What is this?
Okay, 45%. Card like Natalie's card. It's just a calculator.
It is all fun.
All right, we're good. Thanks, everybody.
Yay!